In this video, I will show you how to play a quick game of Shattered Legacy TCG using the test decks available through our site. In a standard game, you and your opponent will have a 50 to 70 card deck, but for a quick game, you can use 25 to 35 cards. Your deck can contain any combination of cards so long as you don't have more than 4 copies of any single card. At the beginning of a game, both players draw 7 cards for their starting hand. Then, at the beginning of each turn, you can draw 1 card during the draw phase. Keep in mind, the first turn player skips the draw phase and battle phase of turn 1. Domain Master cards are purple. At the top of the card, you can see the card's name. This card is called Possessive King Mystari. Then, you can see its domain, its specific card type, its set number, and then at the bottom of the card you can see its health points. This card has 23 health points. And the text inside the text box is the card's effect. Possessive King Mystari's effect reads, when this card is appointed to the Domain Master zone, add 1 Magnarak Domain Vassal from your deck to your hand. Now we are going to appoint Mystari and use his effect to grab a vassal from our deck. Vassal cards are blue. One great card to add is Noita, Soulbinding Mage. As you can see, she is a vassal from the Magnarak domain. We will add her to our hand and shuffle our deck. Wow, look at all the cards in our hand. These green cards are called supporters. Supporter cards must be contracted under vassals and cannot be played by themselves. Life point costs are located on top of the vassals and supporters and must be paid in order to play them. We will pay 2 life points to recruit Isabelle the Stone Wall. Now let's read Noita's effect. This card can only have 1 Thrall contracted to it at a time. When this card is recruited, you may discard 1 card to add 1 Thrall from your deck to your hand. We'll pay 3 life points to recruit Noita to the vassal zone and use her effect. Heretical Winds seems like a good choice to discard since there are no blessings to use it on. Supporter cards are green, and Thralls are a subtype of supporters. You can see we have multiple Thrall supporters to choose from, but for this situation, we're going to choose Crusher Golem. Shuffle our deck. Alright, now we have 2 Crusher Golems. Their effect reads, this card can only be contracted to a Magnarak Domain Vassal. If you control a Domain Master from the Magnarak Domain, this card's attack plus equals 6. That's pretty good, honestly. 6 for a Thrall is an insane boost. And we do have a Magnarak Domain Master, so it will get the effect. So we're going to pay 2 life points for each of these Crusher Golems and contract them underneath each of our vassals. Now let's take a look at the last 3 cards in our deck, and we can't use Void Recouping because we don't have 3 cards in the Void yet. Let's see, Minor Gift of Strength, that's really good to use before an attack, but we don't have a battle phase on the first turn, and this action card requires it to be the beginning of the turn. So, at the end of the first turn, we went from 50 life points down to 41 life points, and now the opponent gets a turn. Now let's move on to our second turn after our opponent had their first turn. You can see our opponent now has control of 2 vassals on their side of the field. Ascendercy has 9 defense. That's going to be important for later. Right now, let's check to see how much attack our cards have. Well, you can see Noita has a total attack value of 7. You get that number by adding the attack plus value from any contracted supporters to the attack value of the vassal. We look at Isabelle, and Isabelle has a total attack value of 8. 8 is not stronger than Ascendercy's 9 though. In order to destroy the opponent's vassal, we must have an attack that is higher than their defense. Well, it is the beginning of our turn, so maybe we can draw something good in our draw phase. You can see the 3 cards that we had in our hand. Now we'll draw 1 card. Oh, wow, look at that. We got a Blessing card. Blessing of the Soul Masters reads, all vassals contracted with a Magnarak Domain Thrall gain +1 attack. So now Isabelle has 9 attack, which isn't higher than 9 defense. But we have this spell, remember? We can play Minor Gift of Strength to boost one vassal by 1 attack and defense. So we're going to play that by sending that spell to the void and boosting the attack of Isabel. Quick side note, now that we do have a blessing, we will be able to play Collecting Tithes next turn. Now let's move on to the battle phase. Isabelle the Stone Wall will attack opponent's Ascendancy and send them to the void. Unfortunately, Noita still doesn't have enough attack to get over the other vassal, and since vassals can only attack once per turn, we're gonna have to end our turn there. Fast forward to a new turn now. We can see our opponent has no vassals, and we have 3. Isabelle, Noita, and our third vassal is Piku, the strategist, who is contracted with a flame golem. We can see her total attack value with her contracted supporter and the blessing is 8. So, with 9 attack, 8 attack, and 8 attack, we can attack our opponent directly, right? Nuh-uh. They still have a Domain Master. You can see Lucia, Empress of Pyrrhun, has 22 health points. In order to destroy her, we must first attack her with an attack that's higher than her health points. Alone, none of our vassals have a high enough attack. But together, they can. When attacking a Domain Master, you can perform a combined attack. That's when you attack using all of your vassals at once. So 9 plus 8 plus 8 is 25 attack, which is high enough to destroy their Domain Master and send them to the void. And the best part, when you lose your Domain Master, you lose half your life points. And then if your opponent has no Domain Master and no vassals, then you can attack them directly. And once you get their life points down to 0, guess what? You win. So, now that you know how to play, go to ShatteredLegacyTCG.com, get some test decks, and play with a friend.